So a couple of friends of mine, they have a place that they are staying, and right now we have decided to go there with the Saab to test it a little bit further. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to uncover the Saab, change one of the fuel filters as I did last time before the trip that we accidentally took the entire route. Because it's just a good mission to do that. So I'm just gonna uncover it, and then yeah, that should be all that I need to do to get to changing a fuel filter. It's a line fuel filter, so it's nothing. This is what the setup is, has been for a little bit now. I have one fuel filter that is right before the carburetor, and there is one right in front of the fuel pump. Now it does have a new fuel pump, because for the technical inspection that one leaked, so I got a new one. It wasn't really expensive, so that was really good. This one is all dry, so just gonna, take a wrench to it and let's get out of there. Alright, it's all loose. Now time for the taking it out. Alright, there we go. Oh, it leaks a little bit. I'll just put it on the ground. Alright, so as you can see, it's bent because of the heat, but then the most interesting bit is at the bottom, which we should be able to see debris. Get it into the sunlight that we can see a little bit better what's going on. Yeah, so right there you can see there's a buildup of rust. It's very minimal in this one actually, so I don't need to change the other one. I can actually put this one back because it's looking very good. I'll just put it in a different orientation because all the grime and stuff floats to the downside, but I have it in my hand, so I'm just gonna replace it. But I am gonna keep this one if I'm ever in need of one that's used but not badly used, because it's still good. So we're gonna keep this one. But yeah. Oh, there goes my tire. I need to fix that. All right. But a new one we can put in and let this one dry out, because it was still with a little bit of gasoline. New ones, I have bought a whole case of them, so that's good. There we go. This is my magic box that has all the filters in there. So as you can see, I still have 4 left, and this will make 5. But I'm just gonna grab one and put it in the same orientation as we did. So I'm just gonna do that. Now, before we start driving, it's very important to check all of your initial fluids. So this one is full. Maybe a little bit too full, but still underneath maximum, so I'm not gonna mess with that. It's probably fine. Oil, of course, it's very important to see if there's any oil in there and what the color is. So it's perfect, just underneath maximum, actually quite good bit underneath maximum, so it's actually using a little bit of oil, which is to be expected from all the rings probably being stuck or something. And then this is your clutch. You can check all the fluids from one side on this car, that's really handy. So, let's see. Ooh, that needs a topping, I guess. I hope it's not like catching air, because this line is leaking, actually. I can show you where it's leaking. It's leaking right there. So, from here, it leaks down and it creates a little puddle right there. And then the down one also has the same problem. I have a new line for this, I just still need to fit it. I have a new starter motor as well, because it won't start when it's hot. And I have a new electronic ignition kit, so that it's a little bit more reliable and it fires better. So that's all of the extra things that I still need to do to this car. But for now, for this little trip, It should be fine as it is. May regret saying that, but it should be fine. Alright, now to the moment that we're gonna start it. Now, for any of you that don't know how to start a Saab, it's quite straightforward, but it's also just you need to keep in mind a couple of things. So, since this is a carbureted car, you would expect it to have a choke. It doesn't have a choke. It does have a choke, but it's automatic. So, what I have here is the key. You put that in. You need to be gentle with it. Actually, you don't need to be gentle with it. You just need to bob it up and down so then it turns over. Only then can you take it out of gear. And then you should be fine to start the car. I'll open it up. Hi. So, good thing is also to roll your windows down for safety. Let's say there's a fire. You still want to get out. So, next up is when you turn on the ignition, you should check that all the lights are on. That means that you've got power. And now, for the more tricky bit, you need to press the gas pedal a couple of times fully. It's got an automatic choke, so that means that the valve inside needs to open, and because the throttle has a spring on it, it keeps tension on it, so it can't overwin that tension, so it won't automatically go back to being on choke. So you need to press the gas pedal to get it to choke, basically. Also help with fuel, so because it's got a little pump in the carburetor, when you give gas that the engine doesn't starve, because it get a lot of air, and then you also need a lot of more fuel. Alright, so keeping my clutch in, here we go. That's actually amazing, because this was a cold start. This car hadn't run in a week. So that tells me that there are no leaks in the in the fuel lines, which is also interesting because we took out one of the filters. So that means that the carburetor is actually properly sealed, that the float, the bowl, still has all of its juices. I won't need these. Just put them in the glove box, which is where it's for. It's in the name, glove box. You didn't know. Does it? Oh, you need to put them properly? Alright. It's not like they'll bend. Alright, so I have a suspicion that the gears, no, actually it's fine. I'll listen to it. It wants to go. It has no hesitation. It's really good. So it's also good to know that when the car is on freewheel, but if the car is still unchoked, do not freewheel. Use the clutch when it's on choke, because you don't want to grind the gears, because the rev range is, the revs of the car are higher, and then if you want to shift the gears in freewheel, it's just not a good idea. You shouldn't do it. Alright, here we go. Just gonna park the car right up here because my dad is going to mow the lawn. There we go. We'll just shut it off for now. We don't need to warm it up completely. So that's the trip.
The actual road trip we didn't film because we just went to see our friends. We drove back in the night, but it was all good.